Coming out of high school, Bo Nix had offers from every single college in the country, was listed as a 5-star recruit, ran a 4.7 40-yard dash, was regarded as one of the top quarterbacks in the entire country, and was also the best player in his state of Alabama. And if you don't want to take my word for it, he has the proof to back it up. He was named Alabama's Football Player of the Year for 2018 through 19. Whenever people talk about some of the best high school careers ever, I can't believe his doesn't get mentioned. He owns the Alabama state record for having over 12,000 yards in his entire career. He was a flat-out monster at the high school level. Here's what an opposing coach had to say about him. Bo is the best quarterback I have ever coached against. There is not a close second as far as for quarterbacks that I have ever faced. He is a leader on and off the field. I'm going to remind you, that wasn't from his head coach, that was from an opposing team's head coach that played him. When other teams' coaches are praising you, you gotta be more than good. You gotta be great. I wouldn't say he had absurd expectations put on him heading into college, but there was some hype. He wound up starting for Auburn University as a true freshman, and that is one of the toughest things to do, especially at the quarterback position. In only his first season for Auburn, he was living up to the hype, and he showed flashes of greatness. In their season opener on the first game of the year, he made a game-winning pass to beat Oregon, and that put his name on the map. If that wasn't good enough, he really made some noise when he led Auburn to beat Alabama. Did he have the best freshman season ever? No, but he's a freshman. He was going to improve. He was the 2019 SEC Freshman of the Year. Things were looking good for Bo Nix. Heading into his second season, he was already getting people saying he could be a dark horse for the Heisman. But however, ever since that freshman season, things haven't gone the way he hoped they would. Instead of taking steps forward in his basketball career, it's almost like he's heading backwards. He went from being a preseason Heisman favorite his second year, and even heading into this year, to now his own fans don't even like him. People around the program and even Auburn's own fans, they think he should be benched. And once again, if you don't want to take my word for it, I'll show you these comments that was left on Auburn's backup quarterback's TikTok. This first comment says, "Bro, you need to start. I love Bo, but he's so inconsistent." Under that, Bo should be benched, and the list goes on and on. And matter of fact, Bo Nix did get pulled against Georgia State for the backup who led them on the game-winning drive. The biggest problem with Bo Nix that I think everybody can agree on, even their own fans, is, like that comment section said, he's insanely inconsistent. You don't know what to expect. He'll look terrible for a 2 to 3 game stretch, and then right when you're getting ready to boo him or say put in the backup, he'll look amazing for 2 to 3 more games. At the beginning of his career, it was, oh, he's a freshman, you gotta give him some time. He'll work on his throwing mechanics in his second or third season. Well, fast forward in time, it's his third season, and it hasn't gotten much better. You can no longer give him any excuses at all. He's been starting in the SEC for 3 years now. The bottom line, nobody knows how to feel about this man. So we're going to take a deep and detailed look at the curious case of Bo Nix. What's good, y'all? Hope you having a blessed day. You already know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like. Let's continue on. Hope you enjoy. The controversy case of Bo Nix. Oh man, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good one. I guess you already know we should start with his high school days first. Don't worry, we're not going to beat around the bush and waste too much time. In high school, he dominated. He was a dual-threat quarterback, ran a 4.7 40-yard dash, had 12,000 total yards of offense, and in his senior season, he had 3,496 passing yards, 48 touchdowns with 351 rushing yards. So right there alone in his senior season, he almost had 4,000 total yards and 50 TDs. Amazing. That alone was good enough to get him attention from every major D1 program, and he decided to go to Auburn. His Auburn football career started as soon as he got there. He started his first game against Oregon. I remember this game vividly when it happened. It was in 2019 because I was rooting against Auburn and I was hoping Oregon would win, but Bo Nix, he pulled some magic out of his hat. I also recall after this game, everyone was praising Bo Nix and thinking and claiming he was going to be the next big thing in the SEC. I'm always going to give credit where it's due. You can play terrible the entire game, but if your team needs a big-time play at the end and you deliver that play, it's got to count for something. Auburn won this game 27-21. Bo Nix led them on a touchdown drive late in the fourth quarter. And yeah, he had the game-winning pass, but let's look a little deeper than that. The only reason Auburn needed a late touchdown to win was because how poorly Bo Nix played the entire game. He didn't even complete 50% of his passes, he didn't throw for over 200 yards, and he also had 2 interceptions. Like I said, if you make the game-winning touchdown, I'll give you a pass on playing poorly at the beginning of the game. My takeaway from that game, I couldn't believe nobody was giving Justin Herbert, who played way better than Bo Nix, any love. He was 28 for 37 with 240, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He by far outplayed Bo Nix. His team just happened to lose. Anyways, moving on, that was the start to the Bo Nix era, for good or for worse. I gotta be real with all of you. I never from the start of his career believed Bo Nix would be a great quarterback in the SEC. I saw him as a mid-level quarterback, maybe good and great at some times. He's going to have some really great games and also some really bad games. I remember saying that at the time, and everybody's like, oh no, he's a freshman, you got to give him some time. But come on now, you can almost recognize talent when you see it. From the jump, I thought he scrambled way too much. His passing ability, it's always been poor, but I did think he could improve it somewhat, and I will give him his respect. He has improved it this year. In that same season, they was 5-0, heading into a undefeated matchup against Florida, where he pretty much got exposed again. In this game, he was 11 for 27, threw for under 150, had 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions with a miserable QBR of 17.1. Not too much to say about the game. It was a bad game. Let's keep it moving. I'm not going to waste too much more time. In that freshman season, almost every game, it was mediocre. Some were good, but only against bad teams. He got a lot of love when Auburn beat Alabama 48-45. I mean, I get it, but he didn't do all that much. The numbers don't lie. He was 15 for 30, right there. 50%, only had 1 touchdown to 0 interceptions. He had 6 rushes for 50 yards, and I'm going to give him this. He didn't cost them the game, and that's why they won. He didn't make that one big mistake like he was making all throughout his season. And anytime you beat Alabama, it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. Everyone's going to think they're the next big thing. It's just how it is. Normally, that's how it goes. If you beat Alabama, you got to be a really good quarterback. And what do you know, Auburn, after they beat Alabama, they go on to lose their bowl game. Shocker. Heading into the 2020 season, which would be Bo Nix's second season, he was already getting some Heisman love. I understood it, yeah, he was a freshman quarterback in the SEC, and people were saying if he could improve his arm talent, he could be a dark horse. At the same time, I didn't understand it. He didn't show me nothing impressive in his freshman season. In his second season, it was not a great year for Auburn. They had 4 to 5 losses. They fired their head coach. But we're not going to pay attention to Auburn. We're going to look at Bo Nix. In 2019, his good freshman season, and yes, I'll say it was above average. It was good for a freshman. He had 2,542 passing yards. However, in his second season, he only had 2,415 passing yards. You see what I'm saying? His numbers decreased, and you never want to see that in a player. Every single year, your numbers should increase, not decrease, and I don't even care if it's slightly. And even if you want to say, yo, Matt, it's relatively the same numbers, well, here's the thing and the argument you can't deny. He didn't improve at all. His 2020 season was almost a backstep from 2019. Nobody was on his case too much. Everyone was like, yo, it's only his second year. Maybe he's in the sophomore slump. Heading into his junior season, which would now be his third year, there was almost no excuses for him, and his own fans, they've been harsh on him. In Auburn's third game this season, they had a big matchup with Penn State. They lost the game. We're not focusing on that. After that game, they played Georgia State, who it shouldn't even have been close, and they almost, I will say this, they should have lost to Georgia State. In this ball game, Bo Nix got pulled for the backup TJ Finley, who threw up a prayer on 4th and 10, and Auburn caught it, and they won the game. If they didn't get that 4th down conversion, they would have lost to Georgia State, and that would have been one of the most embarrassing losses probably ever in the SEC. Before Bo got pulled, he was 13 for 27. You see it again, under 50%. It's unacceptable. Had 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. When the backup came in, TJ Finley, he was 9 for 16, had almost 100 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 picks. And my thing with Auburn and their head coach, maybe Bo's better in practice, but I don't understand how TJ Finley can lead them on the game-winning drive and he doesn't start the next game. Everyone was saying that. They wanted to see TJ Finley play. They're tired of Bo Nix. Ironically, in their next game against LSU, the great Bo Nix, he came to play. TJ Finley, the backup, did play in this game. He only threw 4 passes. Bo was playing most of the snaps. In this game, he was pulling out some Houdini, Johnny Manziel type of plays. It was something, I had fun watching it, I'm not going to lie. With Bo Nix, you're going to have to really watch him to understand this. Yes, he's running a lot, and it looks like the offensive line is bad, and maybe they are. But Bo Nix, he takes off out of the pocket way too fast. He doesn't even give the play time to develop. He reminds me of Jalen Hurts, who played at Alabama. Jalen Hurts would scramble too much, and it's almost like his feet think before his arm does. When I say his feet think before his arm, here's what I mean. Anytime he gets an ounce of pressure, it's almost like his feet automatically have a thing installed in them where he's like, okay, I got to scramble. But in reality, he's cool and he's relaxed and stay in the pocket. Bo Nix, he used to be worse as a freshman. He's getting better at it. On the flip side, when he does stay in the pocket, he gets sacked. So you tell him not to scramble and stay in the pocket, but then there's someone coming at him. He's got to scramble. He doesn't have a choice. Ever since that magnificent performance in the LSU game, he's been really solid down the stretch, and the best game I've ever seen him play was against Ole Miss. Or not Ole Miss, my bad. I meant to say against Arkansas and Ole Miss. That was the best 2-game stretch I've ever seen of his career. Against Arkansas, he was 21 for 26. When's the last time we've seen Bo Nix have a completion rate that high? Had almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a QBR at 97.2. Flawless. You couldn't ask him to do anything more. To follow that game up, everybody's thinking, okay, Bo Nix, he had one good game. That means he's due to disappoint. He didn't do that. He played really solid against Ole Miss. He was 22 for 30, had 276, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. That's the big thing. 0 picks with an 81.8 QBR. Notice how when he doesn't throw interceptions, Auburn typically wins the game. Whenever he gets in trouble is when he makes all these bad decisions. But right after that, what do you know? The disappointment game happened against Texas A&M last weekend. He was 20 for 41, a $150, 0 TDs with only, you would say only, 1 interception, QBR at 26.2. I watched every second of this game. I'm not going to put all the blame on Bo Nix. I can't. The offensive line for Auburn wasn't that great. I've never thought they're that great, and he doesn't get any help. You can put it all on Bo Nix if you want. I mean, here's how I look at it. Texas A&M, they got a good front, and they was even giving Alabama problems. And if you say Bo Nix should have got pulled, I honestly don't think TJ Finley would have done any better. During this game and after this game was when Auburn fans were back to being the typical Auburn fans. They go from cheering on Bo Nix, saying he should be a Heisman favorite, to now saying he needs to get benched. After the game against Texas A&M, a reporter asked Auburn's head coach if he was thinking about pulling Bo Nix. Here's what he had to say. I felt like Bo could get us back in the game, that we could get that spark. That's something that he's shown and that we've done throughout the season. We just didn't get it. So right there we see his head coach. He's defending him and saying he's got his back. While his head coach was defending his back, there's people out there writing news articles asking the question, is it time to see TJ Finley, which is Auburn's backup quarterback? Auburn fans are going on TJ's social media and saying stuff like this. Bo should be benched. TJ's my quarterback 1. Also adding, you're better than Bo Nix, that's a fact. Tough luck. Auburn coaches playing politics over there, so I guess you just need to wait. Right there, if you don't keep up with Auburn, you may be confused about that last statement. He says Auburn coaches are playing politics over talent. What does he mean by that? It has a little to do with Bo Nix's dad is a Auburn alumni. Yeah, you can put 2 and 2 together. Some people are out there insinuating that Bo's only playing because of his father. I'm not going to lie, as much as I didn't like Bo Nix at the beginning of his career, I used to think maybe he was only playing because of his dad. Now, I don't think he's that terrible of a quarterback. I just don't think he's great. He's good, not great. He's not going to lead Auburn to the promised land, but he's also going to keep them around a 8 to 9 win season. For Auburn fans, if you're okay with winning 8 to 9 games, I guess you can stay with Bo Nix, but last time I checked, Auburn wants to compete for championships, and that's not going to happen with Bo. I don't see why you wouldn't give TJ Finley a chance. He's played very limited action, and when he's got in there, he hasn't looked bad, and he even led them on a game-winning drive. You got some fans saying, unleash this man, my Auburn Tigers, let him get at Bama. Right under that, you got another person saying, he needs to be the starting quarterback. Let the debate begin. Who should start, TJ Finley or Bo Nix? Let me know in the comment section. I've watched a lot of Auburn football games this year, a lot of football in general. I got to be honest, I don't see the problem with Bo Nix right now. He's okay. Don't get me wrong, he's looked wishy-washy at times. I just personally don't see what TJ Finley can do better. To speak more on the whole Bo Nix is only playing because of his dad, I think that's nonsense. He was a star coming out of high school. He's shown you he has star talent at the college level, so quit all that talk. Bo Nix reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts at Alabama. He's playing good enough where you can't validate pulling him, but he's also not doing the things you would like to see your quarterback do. He doesn't push the ball down the field. He looks good against average teams and sometimes against good teams, but against great teams, he flat out gets exposed. Auburn still has a chance to win the SEC if Texas A&M loses again and they go undefeated. I think they can still get in. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you can't really say, oh, the season's over, play TJ anyways. For Auburn, though, what's next? I mean, more than likely, they're going to finish the season, 9-4, something like that. The past 2 or 3 years, that's what it's been every single season. And next year, you're going to have Bo Nix coming back. Why would I think it's going to change? It's time for Bo Nix and Auburn fans to have a reality check. The reality of Bo Nix at Auburn is he is a good quarterback. Not a great quarterback, a good quarterback that will never lead Auburn to a 11-1 or undefeated season. It's not going to happen. I will say, as disappointed as I was in his play last season, he's impressed me a lot this year. Maybe he can make that huge leap going into his senior season and be one of the greatest quarterbacks of college football history, but more than likely that's not going to happen. Let me know what you think about Bo Nix and Auburn down below in the comment section. Is it all on Bo? Is it the offensive line, the coaching staff? Is he not getting help? Drop your thoughts down below. With all that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out. Peace.